Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan, and today I'm going to be redrafting the 2019 NHL Draft. Now, a bunch of you guys have asked for it, and just like this message right here, I'm going to actually do it. I'm going to redraft / re-rank the 2019 NHL Draft. We're going to be looking at my rankings back in 2019, see what I got wrong, see what I got right, and ultimately going through my top 15 and re-ranking the 2019 Draft if done today. So, which prospects do I still think are the best in the 2019 Draft, and which prospects would I rank in the top 15 in 2020? Watch till the end for all my picks and rankings, and of course hit that subscribe button if you're new. Now here are my final rankings for the 2019 NHL Draft, at least the top prospects, but we're going to be going through our top 15, mine for 2020, seeing what I got wrong, seeing what I got right, and seeing where these prospects end up. And a good example of where I went wrong comes in at my number 15 spot, that being Karmak Michael of the Washington Capitals. Now I had McMichael in my early 30s in my final rankings, and that's one that I definitely got wrong. I just didn't see that he was that strong of a player for London, wasn't getting on the attack as much as I would like, and even though the hockey IQ I thought was very strong, I didn't see him being as good as he was this year. In 52 games with London, got 102 points, 7 points in 7 World Junior games, and for the Washington Capitals, who got him 25th overall, that's a pretty solid pick. Now going on to my number 14 spot in this redraft, and at number 14 I have Arthur Kaliyev. Now originally in my final 2019 rankings, I had Kaliyev going number 11 as my 11th best prospect. He went in the second round. I thought it was an absolute steal, and for Kaliyev, he just continued to progress. 98 points in 57 games, and was also a point per game in the World Juniors too. He's a guy that I think will just continue to improve. I love his offensive skills, and he's a guy that I will definitely bet on. Although there's a lot of risk there, I think for the LA Kings, he'll definitely work out. Now going on to my number 13 selection, and at number 13, I have USA forward Nicholas Robertson. Now Nicholas Robertson, I was very high on in the 2019 draft. I ended up having him 22nd in my rankings, above a lot of other people as well. A guy that I saw had a lot of potential, and man, did he feel that potential this year. Was able to get 55 goals. He got 55 points the last year, but 55 goals and 86 points. Was also a point per game in the World Juniors, and Robertson just improved in every single way. Although I don't see him as a top 10 prospect yet in the draft, still certainly a guy that I think can become a top 6 forward. Now going on to my number 12 spot, and at this spot I have Dylan Cozens. Now Dylan Cozens was ranked 6th in my board last year, and the only reason he's really finding himself at number 12 is not because he got all that bad all of a sudden. It was more that just so many other prospects just got so much better. But I still am a firm believer of Cozens. This year was able to get 85 points in 51 games, and was able to get 9 points in 7 World Junior games, looking right at home with Team Canada. I still think for Buffalo he will be a top 6 player, although there is some kinks to work out. I think when it comes to his overall game, still a guy forward-wise I think will be very good. Now going on to number 14, and at this spot I have Vasili Podkolzin. Now last year I had him ranked number 14, and that was only because a lot of his skills that I think were kind of getting overrated were just super raw, and I wanted to see him actually start to develop those skills into a great player, and he definitely did that in the KHL. Was able to get 8 points as an 18-year-old, and advanced stats wise looked very good as well. Great possession player too, although again it's kind of cramped in this area in the rankings. An excellent player, and looking even better at 10th overall for Vancouver. Now going on to number 10, and at the 10th position, I have winger Payton Krebs. Now Payton Krebs was 8th in my rankings last year, hasn't moved too much, a little bit less, but I am still a firm believer of what Krebs brings. Unfortunately, was not able to get all too going, especially because he had that injury at the start. But once he started to get in that second half, really started to look at home in the WHL once again. But he's a great play driver, great and steady on the puck, and I think will be a great top 6 guy for Vegas in the future. And it's pretty much tied between him and Podkolzin. You could go either either way, in all honesty. Now going to a guy that's risen quite a bit, and coming at number 9, I have Canadian forward Alexhook. Now, I had Alexhook 12th in my rankings, got a lot better as the season went on the BCHL, but in the NCAA was an absolute madman. 42 points in 34 games, and just went on a tear in the second half. To me, Alexhook is a guy that already had the potential before he was drafted, but I just want to see him get out of the BCHL to see what he's made of, and man, did he make some of it in the NCAA. A guy that might even have first-line potential for Colorado. Now going on to my 8th spot in this ranking, and at number 8, I have German defenseman Moritz Seider. Now in my final rankings, I had Seider number 15, and that was actually pretty high compared to some other people. I definitely liked his skill, and he absolutely torched up the AHL, was able to get 22 points in 49 games as an 18-year-old, which by itself was super impressive, and also was great in the World Juniors. If he continues his progression, could even be a first pairing guy for Detroit. Now going on to my number 7 spot, and this one is a little bit weird because he's at the same spot as last year, but you wouldn't really think it, that being Caufield of Montreal Canadiens. Now Caufield had an excellent year in the NCAA, a point per game, 36 points in 36 games, but to me Caufield is pretty much doing what he should be, and this is what I expected him to be at. Now also, I would like to have him higher, but there's also some other prospects that I just can't really justify being lower, and you'll see that also at number 6. Now coming at the aforementioned number 6, I have Kirby Dach of the Chicago Blackhawks. Now I have Kirby Dach at number 10 when it came to my rankings last year, and the main reason I had him there was the consistency. He would go on long stretches where he would get like 1 point in 10 games, and then there would be stretches where he got like 20 points in 10 games. The consistency I thought was a huge issue, but the next year obviously would play 64 games for the Blackhawks, looked very solid overall, and although I think his rookie season kind of got a little bit overrated as he was pretty sheltered on the power play especially, that's still a guy that has an excellent future ahead of him, and the consistency hasn't been an issue yet. Now, obviously, if we're talking about the best players right now in the draft, Kirby Dach would be higher, but we still got to factor in potential since we're 1 year after this draft. And a good example of that comes in at number 5, my pick being Trevor Seagrass. Now, I had Seagrass at number 5 in my prospect rankings last year, and that is exactly where he will still be. And in terms of potential, I still think has one of the best of this entire draft class. Got 36 points in 33 NCAA games with BU, which is fantastic player overall, and was insane in the World Juniors, but he's a guy that just has so much explosiveness, and I think could definitely be a first-line center at the very least for the Anaheim Ducks. Now going on to my number 4 pick, I have Avalanche defenseman Bowen Byram. Now I had Bowen Byram 4th in my prospect rankings last year, and that is once again, just like Seagrass, where he will stay. I'll be the first one to say that Bowen Byram did not have the greatest year, but in terms of being a number 1 defenseman, I still think Byram has that potential. In 50 WHL games, was able to get 52 points, and although the production wasn't quite there, he was absolutely bonkers in the second half, really got it going, and the defensive game, I think at points, definitely took a rise. If he can continue to develop, I think that's a guy that alongside Cale Makar will be absolutely nasty. Now going on to number 3, and again, this is where it comes down to potential and what's left in this player rather than who is the best. At number 3, I have Alex Turcotte, who was number 3 in my prospect rankings last year. Turcotte is a guy that I still am a firm believer in as a guy who can be a first-line center. Definitely was the most disappointing in terms of the top 3 of Caufield, him, and Seagrass, but I still think has so much potential as one of the smartest, one of the quickest, and one of the best pure skill guys of the draft. 26 points in 29 games for Wisconsin. Again, not amazing, but in terms of development, I still think it will be there, and for the LA Kings, they can definitely be patient with him. At least I hope. And now going into the eternal debates of number 1 and number 2, Jack Hughes versus Kakko. And if you know this channel, you would know I had Kakko number 1 last year and Jack Hughes number 2. And yes, I will be sticking by that. Jack Hughes will be my second pick, and Kakko will stay at number 1. Now, I'll be the first one to say that both guys had disappointing years, especially Kakko, and I was not correct in predicting him to win the Calder Trophy. That was a bad prediction. But let's be honest here. These guys are both 18 years old, now Kakko 19, but we need to give them some time. Whether you prefer Jack Hughes or Kakko, these guys obviously need more time to get up to that elite level, and I think we should give them that time. They're both super young, they're both super talented, and I see both of them breaking out next year. Whether you prefer one or the other, let's just cool it for a second, because they're both going to be freaking fantastic. And there is my rankings, or I guess re-rankings of the 2019 draft. Of course, with this one, make sure you let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below, what you agree and disagree with, and how would you re-rank these players today. Of course, make sure you like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Share this video, boys, get the re-rankings out there, and click on this card to watch all of my 2019 NHL draft content right in one playlist. My name is Nathan. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.